Hi, so I wanted to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is dream work. And in this session, I want to talk about dream work and connecting with ancestors. So, in my tradition, basically, the dream realm is basically one of the easiest portal to connect with your ancestor, to receive messages, for them to give you warnings, to give you advice if you want to ask anything from them. Um, Usually, when it's something imperative that you have to know that is eminent for you as vital information that you need to undergo or address some issues that you have, you will spontaneously have the dream where you will see an ancestor. And most of the time, it is an ancestor that you know or that you're familiar with, or that you can ask other family members to confirm that it is actually one of your ancestors. And one of the easiest ways for you to know that it is one of your ancestors is that usually the family member will tell you something that is really akin to just your lineage and your family, basically. And this is kind of information you can verify with your grandmother or whoever else is the member of your family that's close to you. Um, uh, I mean, it's well known that whenever you get messages or channeling or talking to spirits or whatever, spirits who are telling you that they are your ancestor and things like that, you always have to question what the person is telling you or what the entity is telling you. You always have to make sure that it is actually true and it is actually right. Sometimes you will get the familiar feeling, for example, if it's someone who was close to you that you knew about, like when your grandmother passes away, sometimes when the presence let themselves known or speak to you in your dreams, you will have that kind of sense that you know who it is even before you actually see in your dreams the individual. If it's an ancestor that you've never met, this is what is very important, even in your dreams, to ask questions and to get that information so that when you awake, you can actually verify the information if it was correct or not. And in terms of assessing whether this is actually your ancestor, it is very important that you get information that pertains to you, not general information, not premonitions and things like that in vision, because some spirit will can give you, snaps and bits about the future, but that doesn't mean that they are in your lineage and that they are your ancestors. And why am I saying that you need to go through this step to verify this information, to get information you can verify, is because you can be led astray. You can be manipulated by whatever entities that are trying to feed on you. You can be, they may be a variety of reasons why. But by getting that information, you can ensure that you can verify it, confirm that it was in fact what the entity was telling you, that it is in fact the identity that it had, so that then you can move on from there and keep working with this ancestor that's contacting you. And you know, I see a lot of video on like astral projection and all these different kind of things. But what I'm talking about when I'm talking about dream work and connecting with the ancestor, here I'm trying to give some pointers on the different things you should be aware of. But this is actually something, I've been doing since I was little. In my tradition, it's something that's completely normal. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to read any books. It's something that, your child will wake up one morning and say, "Mommy, I dreamed that, your grandfather came to see me." And you'll ask him, was grandpa? He's going to say, "No, he said he was your dad or your grandfather and this and that and that." And the child, as early as they're able to speak, will be able to give you some information. And I think also as a mother, when a child is coming with certain information that they had in the dream state, don't dismiss it. Verify the information. Verify what they're telling you, so that you can, curtail and assist the child in terms of interpreting the dream, reassuring that there's nothing to be scared of, and and assessing the information to see how you can use the information. Because if they're reaching out to a child that's really young, it may also be because there's some form of urgency, because usually children will just spit out what they know. They wouldn't necessarily analyze things and try to, assess it or keep it or have ulterior motive. Like that's why sometimes the ancestor will go to the youngest of the children around you. And as you grow up, you start managing and you start actually being more open and being more available also to receive these messages. In my video talking about fasting to improve your magical workings and manifestation, I touched a little bit about how or why you're not able to get information or retain the information you're getting in your dreams, or even remembering your dreams if you don't have enough energy. If your battery is being depleted for whatever reason, you can go check back that video so you can know if you need to change some things in your diet, the time you're eating before you're going to sleep, to optimize the energy that you can have in order to remember your dreams, especially if an ancestor has contacted you. And in my tradition, ancestors coming to your dream is something that's completely normal. It's like a must-have. I don't know anyone who never had this kind of experience, where they will see a grandfather, somebody they met, somebody who recently passed away, and they will give a message, and then the message will be, discussed with the family. Usually it's not everyone in the family. Sometimes it's a couple of people, sometimes it's several people who get similar messages, or messages that are, pieces of the puzzle, so that to confirm that the information that something is actually happening. Sometimes you can have some people who are more or less open to receive that information. In this case, this may be why the ancestor will go through different family members in order to get the information through. And so it will vary from family to family, but having dreams of ancestors for us is completely normal. It's kind of a go-to. When you even have like life issues, you can call on your name ancestor, meaning the ancestors with whom you are carrying the current name. You can also basically go into your dreams and call upon your ancestor within your dreams to connect with them and to ask them about different things. For me, I know that from a very young age, I went and connected with my name ancestor, and basically she foretold a couple of things to me that will help me along the way. Like, I knew since I was 4 years old that I was going to become a lawyer, so it was basically a path I had to take in order for me to get where I needed to get. And my dad always reminded me that at 4 years old, I told him, I was going to become a lawyer. And sure enough, 22 years later, sorry, I passed my bar exam, the New York bar exam. So it is a great tool to have. I know some people are reticent. They will say, only call on the ancestors when there's something that's like urgent, there's something that's like you need assistance and help. But to the contrary, to me, it's just like, no, if you're building a relationship, it's like you don't call your friends just when you are in a situation of in an emergency situation. You don't have to call them every day, but you do have to build a relationship and to maintain that relationship. And I find that for me, when there is some type of urgency, the ancestor would basically make themselves known and bring the message right away. So I like to check in at different time of the year, have certain celebration, do my daily rituals, and just spend some time with them in the dream realm. This is also for those who are wondering about astral protection. If you are frequently talking to your ancestors and honoring them, they can be of assistance in the astral realm or even energetically. They may shield you from psychic attacks and other things, and make your life go a lot smoother than if they weren't present with you. They may also come to your rescue when there's something happening. I remember that depending on how many ancestors are with you, because in our tradition, when you're born as an individual, there are certain spirits that come along with you. In different traditions, some people call them guardian angel. In the Islamic tradition, they will call them the jinns, the good one and the bad one that you have around you. In my tradition, basically, you are coming with a set of ancestors as well as other entities, and for the ancestors, they are with you all the time. From the moment you're born, you have your team with you, and basically this team is like looking out for you. And the caveat to that is that even as a child, My grandmother will always tell you, don't get mad, because, the spirits are around you. They're not going to distinguish if you are just mad, that if you are really, really mad, they may go out and try to fix it for you. So this is why sometimes when someone really does something to you, and crap will happen to them without you even lifting your fingers or saying anything, that's because of these entities that are around, that may be around you, and that are watching out for you. So sometimes you have to watch your world. This is what, from a very young age, we teach children, not to be too expressive when they're angry, because when you're to go into the extreme, and you start saying things that you don't mean, for them, they're not going to pick up the difference. They're going to say, she wants us to do something, or he wants us to do something, and they will go and fix that. Similarly, they also try to teach you how to master your emotions. Because the same way, if you are really sad, they're going to want to address the cause of your sadness, the source of the sadness, and they may go out and do things that may be good or bad for that person. So it's important already at an early age to connect with them, to install a symbiotic relationship, so that you can tell them, no, don't do anything, or, yes, go and fix the situation for me. Also, they don't usually manifest themselves right away. You may sense the presence at time, depending on how sensitive you are energetically. And you can go see other people who will tell you what they look like and stuff like that. I know that for me, when I met my part of my team, I didn't want them to show them face right away, because I thought I was going to be scared, and because they also told me that some of their appearances may, how can I put this, may frighten me a little bit. And I watch a lot of horror movies, and seeing monsters, like, I don't get frightened easily, but nevertheless, you have other ways for them to confirm that they're actually here with you, or they're actually around you. For me, a couple of times it was for them to flick the lights, and then the lights flicked, so I knew they were there. You can ask them questions that way as well. But essentially, they are around you, and depending on the relationship you have with them and the power and strength that they already have, also, you can, they can manifest themselves pretty quickly, or it may take a longer time. But ancestral work, for anyone who's wondering, is a great tool to get information about yourself. Like I've mentioned in other videos about bloodlines and stuff like that. And one of the questions I get a lot from African Americans, or from Canadian African Canadians, or Black Canadians, I don't remember the terms, who don't necessarily know their heritage or their cultural heritage, where they're from. Dream work is a great and wonderful way, because sometimes it can be very vivid, and you can be actually able to see the face of one of your ancestors and ask them. Another way to do that as well is to do past life regression, where and you can do that through dream work as well, where you want to dream and go back to a particular time. I think for me, I can keep talking about dream work forever, but I'm just gonna cut it here and just say, it's dream work is a great way to connect with your ancestor. And remember that as the ancestor, if your ancestors are already around you, you are sensitive, and you have a relationship with them, just be careful of what you say and how you act, because they may react and actually protect you even when you don't necessarily need it. So I'll leave you at that. Of course, if you have any questions, keep them coming, and if you haven't yet, please go ahead, press that like button and subscribe for more. Bye.